Welcome back to the show. Now, competition is rife in the job market, particularly at the moment. It can make landing your first job just as difficult as getting a job when you're older. Now, with tips on how to make your CV stand out when you are getting your first job is career specialist Tom O'Neill. And last week, Tom, we spoke about agism at the other end, and you gave some great tips about, like, not putting down before 1992 on your CV your jobs.
Yeah, it's good.
Don't sort of label yourself your age without lying.
Yeah, of course.
But the opposite, the reverse ageism, is just as prevalent. What happens when you've just come out of school or maybe just got a tertiary qualification and you can't get a job?
Yeah. Competition is really, really a lot harder these days. I've got this wonderful story. I know a chap who 30 years ago wanted to get a job as a land surveyor, and he went to the local council and they said, oh, land surveying's 8th floor. So he got in the elevator and by mistake got off at the 6th floor and went and became an accountant for 10 years, you know? I mean, that's how easy it was. Yeah, true story, 100%. You know, absolutely. And then finally got himself out into land surveying. 100%. But that's the old way. You know, it used to work. You literally could walk in. You literally could walk into jobs.
And choose what you wanted to do.
That's right. But now, I mean, our population, of course, is growing. There's a lot more competition. I mean, people from overseas, people returning from overseas. And it just makes it so more important to sell yourself and market yourself professionally, especially if you're a young person, because you don't have a lot of things to, you know, hang your hat on.
If you are a young person who's had very little job experience and you find yourself constantly being told, well, you know, you have got a qualification but you've got no experience, are you meant to say to them, well, if you don't give me a job, how can I get experience? Or is that the wrong way to approach it?
It's the chicken or the egg. But what I'd suggest is a lot of people actually do have experience. Met a young woman worked with just recently. She graduated with a diploma in travel and had some retail experience. And she was like, well, you know, I've got a bit of retail experience. It's not really relevant to the travel industry. So we dug a bit deeper and then suddenly we found that, you know, she was a retail salesperson. Then she was awarded further responsibility as sole charge on occasion when the manager was out. Suddenly she was given...
That's quite a big deal.
Oh, massive. Then she was given sole charge management of the store. As well as that, she was given alarm codes, she was given the banking, $20,000 a week. She exceeded all the sales targets and she was training other staff who joined the company. Hold on, that's not just a kid who wants a job, that's a professional young woman who's got something an organisation could really want.
But then how do you, if you are then going for a job in the travel industry, which is what you want, how do you sort of parlay that retail experience into the job application?
Yeah. It's looking at what the job is you want to do and look at what you've got. So, for example, travel and tourism, it's very focused on the customer interaction, really bringing strong customer service, developing those long-term relationships that you do in retail. But even more than that, sales is a massive one. You know, you can have all the lovely customers in the world. If you can't sell anything, no go. And so, again, in that situation, she could point to a sales experience where she exceeded budgets, where she got commendations from management for doing a great job, you know, and exceeding those budgets, or maybe won a bonus or a trip, whatever, and really highlighting those to the travel company. There's another thing I would suggest is really to focus on passion, because a lot of the time, a lot of the time, someone will recruit on passion ahead of skill. And so if you're a, let's say, 18-year-old or 22-year-old, you just come out of uni or school, and you don't have all that excellent experience, you're going to always get beaten potentially by someone who's, you know, got 6 months experience. But if you can just rock in and talk about, genuinely, of course, about the passion you have for tourism, the passion you have for customer service, the passion you have for sales, and you want to develop a career in this, etc., it suddenly transforms you from another applicant to a person who would, you know, really get excited about it, and that really assists in the recruitment decision.
But it's the getting in the door. Now, a couple of weeks ago, you talked about the latent job market, or the hidden job market, where you just bowl on up with your CV, and I think that's brilliant, and if you've got the guts to do that, go do it. But how do you get yourself in the door with your CV when you're a young person, so you actually are able to be in front of them and say how passionate you are?
Again, there's two main ways. There's the traditional way, Seek, Trade Me, the Herald Jobs, etc., you know, and the problem is everyone's applying to those, every single person. So, you know, instead of, well, so you're competing against 300 others. But I really believe getting out there and marketing yourself, going out there and just literally knocking on doors, or if that's a bit too much, sending an email, a nice cover letter, a nice, obviously a very nice CV, and then sending that through. And then, of course, following up the phone call and having some little nice points you can talk about. That really starts to open doors. But especially for younger people, leveraging their social networks is something that us oldies don't really sort of understand as much.
Do you mean like Facebook and that
Facebook, you know, anything like that. I mean, myself, you know, I leverage LinkedIn to a degree. And so, you know, LinkedIn is my social network in a way.
I've seen this new LinkedIn. I keep getting asked to be someone's friends on LinkedIn.
Yeah,
so what's LinkedIn?
LinkedIn's like Facebook, except for business people primarily. And so it's suddenly you've got all these amazing contacts with people around the world, which is truly incredible.
So how does a young person take advantage of LinkedIn?
Well, the young person will primarily concentrate on Facebook, MySpace and so on, because they may have 2,000 friends. Now,
and did they say, look, do they post, I'm looking for a job in the travel industry?
Exactly. Now, chances are none of their 2,000 friends will be able to give them a job in the travel industry. However, they may work in a company that has a travel department, or they may work in a travel company themselves. A job comes up, suddenly, oh, I know, Peter's looking for a job. Suddenly contact Peter, send the CV. Now you're competing against one person. You're not competing against 300. So it's about getting your networks, whether your networks are, you know, people you party with, whether Facebook, people at the swim club, whatever. Everybody is a network. And getting them excited about you, getting them... the reason why your friend is that they are your friend is they like you, so chances are they want the best for you. So you want to tell those people, and they're the ones that can really start to get those things moving.
Let's finish with the CV layout for a young person. You know, for people like us, because we've had so much experience, it's like what not to put on it.
Yeah.
How do they expand their CV to look good?
Good. Let's say if it was a school graduate, a really brilliant thing to do is think about extracurricular activities you may have been involved in. So, for example, you may have been involved in leading a group at church. You may have been involved in doing some things at university, or some leadership roles at school. You may have been on the committee for Students Against Drunk Driving. You may have been a peer counsellor, all that sort of stuff. OK, sure, it's not, you know, work experience.
And not paid work.
And not paid work experience, of course. But it still shows responsibility. It still shows a person that can be trusted. It still shows a person that is respected. It still shows a person who's going to turn up on time. And it's those little things that could definitely make the difference.
I think that's really interesting. Look, it's sort of thinking outside the square as always. Tom, always great to have you on the show. Hopefully our younger viewers got some good tips today.
Great.
And for more information about Tom, you can head to our website.